Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here. It's rating on the 4-game CSGO main slate on Tuesday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos talking about NBA, NFL, and esports daily fantasy sports slates. Esports including Call of Duty, League of Legends, and this one, Counter-Strike CSGO. So with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. I hope you guys all had a good day off on Monday. There's a couple games, but no big slate, so I took the day off. Also withdrew most of my money from winning that GPP on Saturday. Yeah, I mean, I figure after like a big win like that, it's never good to just like play like way more than you usually do. Just withdraw most of it and get back to normal. So took most of that out and ready to get back to the grind here. See if we can build up the bankroll once again. So yeah, let's take a look at the Vegas odds here for this 4-game slate. We have Fnatic and Movistar Riders. Fnatic minus 550 favorites. They're the biggest favorites of the day. Vitality versus Godsent. Vitality are minus 245 favorites. NS versus Copenhagen Flames. NS are minus 220 favorites. And Heretics versus North. Heretics minus 180 favorites. And once again, on Sunday slate, we saw some big upsets. We saw Na'Vi go down. They were like minus 850 favorites. We saw G2 go down. They were minus 1,000 favorites. I mean, I wonder if you just bet all the underdogs in CSGO the last 2 or 3 weeks, you probably made some really good money. And again, it just goes to show you can really go either direction. It doesn't matter what the Vegas says. Underdogs have a chance to win CSGO no matter what. We've seen it so much recently. So let's first talk about the Movistar Riders team. So they are the biggest underdogs in the slate, but like we've seen, again, you cannot rule them out. So where I'm looking on this team, Alex at 8K. Again, talked about him a good amount here. He is the guy that does have the most upset on this team. In wins, we've seen 70 plus fantasy points from him. You're getting him at a pretty decent discount off those guys at the top, and he's going to be super low on in the slate. I feel like the safe route to go is to get some of those Fnatic guys in there. So Alex is a guy that I think, again, on this Movistar Riders side in general, I think just goes very low owned. I think he's going to go below 5% owned. But again, we've seen some upside from him. He's at a pretty reasonable price tag at 8K. I think he makes for a good contrarian GPP play. The other option his team I would consider would probably be Steel at 6.6K. I just think he has had some decent games here in the past. He's averaging about 50 fantasy points a game. That's not bad for 6.6K. In wins, you probably see a little bit more too. So Steel is a guy, again, these are more contrarian low-owned options, but we've seen so many upsets in the past here that these guys are definitely in play. Alex, Steel, those are the guys I would look to on the Movistar Rider side. On the Fnatic side, so these are the biggest favorites of the day. I mean, again, if you're playing a cash game setting, you probably play a couple of these Fnatic guys, but we've just seen so many upsets, so you really can't feel confident about any team. They are the second-ranked team in the world. You would assume they should be able to hand Movistar Riders, but again, you never know. This game is not even in the tournament play. This is just a consolation game, so I guess it doesn't really mean a whole lot. So maybe Fnatic could come out flat, I guess. Let's talk about the players here. So Brolin is at the top at 8.8K. He's really been playing good. This last week or two, he has shown a lot of upside. He's really made a lot of clutch plays. Yeah, I know his price is going up, but he has really been paying it off. And like I said, I think he is definitely in play in this slate. And then we have Flusha at 8.2K. Another guy that, I mean, maybe doesn't have as much upside as Brolin consistently. He's a little bit more up and down. But he's put up 80, 70, 80, put up 123 against Mouse Esports. So Flusha is a guy that I am considering as well. I think he goes a little bit more lower owned because he's close. He's pretty close priced to Brolin. And then Crims. Kind of like Rops, right? So I was talking about Rops. How the breakout game's coming. He was on such a bad stretch, and it finally did happen. If you played Rops, I did myself on Sundays. Hope you guys did too. Rops had a huge day. I just feel like a breakout game has to be coming here for Crims. He's been so disappointing the last week and a half. But again, we know like this guy can put up 70, 80. He put up 144 against Mouse Esports. So this is a guy at 7.4K. I have some interest in for sure. I know he's been struggling recently, but again, I think a breakout game's got to be coming from him soon. And then JW. I mean, I've been playing him almost every single slate. He was in like the slow 6K range. They're finally priced him up a little bit more to 6.8K, but I still have a good amount of interest in him. He's their AWPer. Again, this Fnatic team is a kind of a balanced team as well. Besides Golden's not a guy that really has a lot of upside, but those top four guys, again, kind of like a straw. So they can go off any one of those four guys. So I do like these Fnatic guys. Again, Crims, I think the breakout game has got to be coming from him soon. JW's been a guy that I've just been plugging and playing almost every single slate for the past 2 weeks. I have a lot of interest, even at 6.8K. And then again, Brolin, Flush at the top. Those are two guys that have huge upside as well. So this Fnatic team is definitely piqued my interest. I think they are going to be really popular for a cash game setting. But yeah, again, they're pretty reasonable price tags. Golden at 5.6K. I mean, the reason you would get to him is you think they 2-0, which I think is definitely possible, right? They're the biggest favorites of the day. We've seen decent games from him, 62 against Navi, 60 against Mouse Esports. Now, sure, those are wins, but yeah, again, I don't think he's out of play. I think if you're going more the star-heavy lineup, right? If you're going more stars and the scrubs build, you got to take a shot in two of these cheap guys. I don't think Golden's the worst idea if you want to get to guys like Zywoo, Meika, right? Those guys at the top. So yeah, I think he is in play. Not my favorite play, but again, if you want to get to those guys at the top, I think he is someone that is viable. Next team here, we have Godsent versus Vitality. Godsent are plus 170 dogs. They just came off a loss to the top three guys. The guys have finished in with Styko, Zen, and Madden. 7.4, 7.2, and 7K respectively. And yeah, I mean, if you're going more of a balanced approach, this is something that is definitely viable, right? If you want to run a 2-man stack of Godsent, even a 3-man stack, they're all really cheap. Again, the highest price guy is 7.4K with Styko. We saw a big game. Now, they don't have that most recent game up there, but, the 2 games against Mouse Esports, they all had big games. Styko at 85, Zen had 100, Madden had a pretty solid day, too, at 67. So these 3 guys are definitely in play at their price tags. I know they're slight dogs, but yeah, if they can pull off this win, you could see a definitely a high scoring game here from these Godsent guys. Makalele and Crystal for value. I don't know if I get there. 6.4, 4.2K is so cheap for Crystal. I guess you would hope for the 2-0, but really, I still don't think I get to him. On the Vitality side, right, so Zywoo, the most expensive player in the day, 10.4K. It makes it a little bit difficult, the price tag, but I think he is someone that, again, certainly has upside. They don't have that game against Fnatic where he had 150 fantasy points up there. We know, right, he has enormous upside. He's their opper. He can really carry this team, but you're going to have to pay premium for him. So, right, so do you want to go more that balanced approach, or do you want to go more that stars and scrubs approach? If you want to go for that stars and scrubs approach, guys like Zywoo, right, Meika, you're going to have to take a shot in 1 or 2 of those cheap guys. So it's all about how you want to go about roster construction. Zywoo, again, I think is a very good play. If you can get to him, the price tag makes it a little bit difficult, but I still think he is in play for sure. I think he's still going to be pretty popular just because, again, if we're just looking at spend ups, right, we have Zywoo, Meika, Farlig, Brolin. There's not a whole lot to spend up for, right? There's, Zywoo's 10.4K. We have a couple guys in the 9K range, and everyone else in the 7 to 8K range. So I just think for that reason, he will be pretty popular. So yeah, it's all about, how do you want to go about this slate? Do you want to go more that balanced approach, or do you want to go more that stars and scrubs build? If I'm going to pair him with someone, it probably would be RPK once again. I mean, 6.2K. It's more just a price tag thing for him, right? Not a guy that has enormous upside, but he allows you to get those a guy like Zywoo in your lineup. And if you want to go that Vitality stack, which I think is viable, I think that's probably the way I would go about it. So yeah, this game's interesting, right? You could go more the balanced approach with those Godsent guys, or you can more the stars and scrubs build the Vitality guys. So all about how you want to attack the game. I think either is fine, right? The game should stay close looking at Vegas odds, so I think it could go either way for sure. On the Copenhagen Flame side, we saw the enormous upside from Farlig. He put up over 100 against Mouse Esports. He looked amazing with that op. He was making clutch after clutch. Putting up that type of score against a really good team, Mouse Esports, is really impressive. Against Movistar Riders, he put up 80. Against North, he put up 71. Right, he's put up 90 against Contact. This guy definitely has some upside. He's playing really, really good recently. So he's someone, if we're looking at the Vegas odds too, this one should be close as well. NS are slight favorites, are minus 220, but I think it could go either way. Now, Farley is a guy again that carries this roster, so the guys more on the bottom of the roster don't have a whole lot of upside. The Queenix, Hoaxy, Nodios. Refresh is their number 2 guy at 7.2K. 80 and 57 fantasy points the last 2 games. He's had 80 a couple times here, and he's at a pretty cheap price tag. So that would probably be where I'd look to as well if you want to get another Copenhagen Flame guy in your roster. We're probably pairing with Farley with Refresh. And then on the NS side, this is a team that, again, their favorites here, the minus, 220. I think these guys are interesting. Alu at 8.6K. I think maybe goes a little bit lower owned on the slate, just because we haven't seen like an enormous day from him. We have seen 80, 90 fantasy points from him, but we don't have those 100-plus fantasy point games like we have with Maka, right? We have with Zyru, like we had with Farleg, right? So I think for that reason alone, just boxer watchers, he might go a little bit lower owned. But he is their number 1 guy, and for being the number 1 guy in his team, he's at a pretty cheap price tag at 8.6K, and they're favorites minus 220. So Alu's a guy that I do have interest in for sure here. Who else do I like in this team? I mean, I think guys like Sergey and Sunny in the mid-range look decent, right? 7K, 6.6K. I think either of those guys you could pair with Alu if you want to. But yeah, I think Alu would be my priority for sure at 8.6K. But, those guys in the mid-range, Sunny, Sergey, have some upside as well. Lastly, here we have North versus Heretics. North are slight dogs here, plus 130. On the North side, it's AZ at 8.4K. Another one of those guys that I think it just goes maybe a little bit lower owned. Again, I think Zywu's going to be pretty popular. I think Farley after that big game might be pretty popular. So these other guys maybe go a little bit lower owned. But you're getting them at pretty cheap price tags, right? At 8.4K for a guy that put up 80 against G2 in a win. Really impressive there. He put up over 100 against Contact. So another situation where you're getting a number 1 guy in a team at a pretty cheap price tag at 8.4K. So I definitely have some interest there. Occasion B as well at 6.4K. I think he makes for a decent value option. And also just want to bring up Jumpy, their coach, has been filling in. He's not a guy that has a lot of upside at all. He's at a really cheap price tag. I don't want to go there. But it makes it so those other guys in the roster have to do more, right? So it actually helps those guys out statistically, right? So AZ has to do more. You got Occasion B, right, has to do a little bit more. So sure, I mean, they're maybe not as good as a team, but as far as stats go, if they can pull off the win, you're probably going to see a bigger game out of AZ, a bigger game out of a guy like Occasion B. Then lastly, Heretics. So this is the team I think I am the most excited about on this slate. They are favorites here, slight favorites at minus 180. So the reason why I really like these guys is, well, look at some of their wins, right? Lucky's 70, 80 fantasy point upside. He's at 7K. Navarra at 7.8K. He's put up 90, 80, 70, right, in wins. Now, sure, against tougher opponents like Fnatic, Astralis, Ninjas, and Pajamas, not great games, but still solid, right? 60, 40, like, those are not bad against really, really good teams. This is an easier matchup. And then Maka at the top of 9.8K, right? He's put up 90, 100 fancy points in wins. So this is a team that I like a lot just because they're very star-studded, right? Those guys at the top, those 3 guys really carry the team, whereas Kiyoshima and XMS don't do a whole lot, in the kill department. So I really like these Heretics guys, and I brought up their stats on HLTV.org. Just thought it was interesting. Again, they had this for the last 3 months. Maka, he has a really solid 1.17 rating 2.0, 0.73 kills per round, 0.61 deaths per round. But actually higher on the team is Navarra, if we're just looking at kills, right? 0.75 kills per round, 0.61 deaths per round. So he has more kills per round than Maka does. And he's got a lot cheaper price tag at 7.8K. I think Navarra is probably my favorite play of the day. I really like his upside here, and again, you're getting him at under 8K for a guy that has 70, 80, even 90 fantasy point upside in games that they've won, right? So I really, really like the upside here in Navarra at that price tag. I think he's my favorite play of the day. I think Maka again, either way, I think he is a guy that is certainly in play as well. He's put up over 100, right? He's almost had 4 straight 100 fantasy point games. He's put up 123 against Complexity. This guy's enormous upside as well. He's their opper. So I just really like the upside here in this Heretics team. Even Lucky at 7K, I think is fine. Maybe he's not as much upside as the other two guys, but he still has 70 fantasy point games in here, right? And he's at 7K. And the only reason I'll bring up XMS is just the price tag, right? At 4.4K. Now it's gross, right? I know he's not a good fantasy scorer, but if they can win this one 2-0, that's what you're really hoping for if you play him. Then you get that 20 fantasy point bonus. You could see him put up, 40, maybe even 50 on the high end. That would be really ideal for a guy at this price point. And then that could open up for like a lot of other things if you want to go more that stars and scrubs approach. So, yeah, all in all, I think that Heretics team is my favorite team to target just because they're more, again, star heavy at the top where those top 3 guys really carry the roster. So it's good for, we know where the fantasy points are coming from them, right? So that's why I do really like Heretics, and I think they have a decent chance to win this one. So, yeah, I think Navarro probably overall my favorite play. But this slate, I think, it could go either way. You can go stars and scrubs. You can go balance. So if you're going stars and scrubs, right, obviously like Zywoo at the top, Maka, Farleg, Brolin. Those are all guys that have enormous upside. And then if you're going more like a balanced approach, right, so guys that I've brought up, right, I think low-owned guys like Alu and AZ, those are the top guys in their respective teams. They're at pretty cheap price tags at 8.6 and 8.4K. I think they're viable. Alex, we've seen big upsets. Movistar Riders, they could definitely do it against Fnatic in a game that doesn't really mean anything. He's a guy that I think goes probably under 5% owned. Again, Navarro, I think he's my favorite play at that price point, 7.8K. I also really like Crims. I like buying low on guys. He's burned me a lot recently, again, kind of like Rops, but I just feel like a breakout game's got to be coming from him soon. You're getting him at a really cheap price tag, so I like Crims a good amount. Again, those Godsent guys, they're all really cheap. Styko, Zen, Refresh if you want to pair him with Farleg. JW, again, I've been playing him almost every single slate. I still like him even at 6.8K. He's their offer. So, yeah, again, there's a lot of different ways you can go on the slate. My favorite value play, I don't really know if I have a favorite value play, but guys I'll bring up just because I think they have a decent chance to 2-0, right? 2-0. A guy like Golden at 5.6K. We've seen 50, 60 fantasy points from him in wins, so you're really hoping for the 2-0 there. Not a guy that has a lot of upside, but if you get that 2-0 bonus, that's huge. The same thing with XMS. I know he's terrible, right? But if you get that 2-0 bonus, you could see him put up 40, maybe 50, and that will allow you really to get those stars in your lineup. A guy like RPK, I like a good amount if you want to pair him with Zywoo. I think he's a pretty solid value option. And Cajun B there. JW at 6.8K, I like him a good amount. He's probably one of my favorite value plays if you consider him value. So, yeah, I think that about does it for the breakdown of this 4-game CSGO slate. I think that's going to do it for the video, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content so far, we really appreciate if you like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. We're closing in at 3.2 thousand subscribers. I know it's just really slow growth at this time since there's no regular sports, but these sports, I'm going to continue to put up CSGO slates, Call of Duty as well, maybe League of Legends once we get bigger slates again for that. So yeah, thanks again for everyone to come and check the video. I hope you guys all have a good day. Hope you guys all staying safe, and I will see you all in the next one.